không một câu nào than phiền, luôn chiến đấu và tuyên truyền. Không chọn nơi nào đông mà đi vào trong đã không được đâu.
Nơi trường ta là an toàn, vệ sinh sạch sẽ và kỹ càng, để corona chấm dứt, mình cùng chung tay cuộc đời nở hoa.
Đêm ngày lo dịch kia đang ở đâu, lòng dân thì lo lắng bất an, cuộc sống đâu dễ dàng. Bao giờ mới hết dịch đây ta?
Bao dòng lệ từng rơi lúc khó khăn, Việt Nam của ta luôn đấu tranh, hai tổ quốc có lên.
Ở yên một chỗ để tránh dịch bệnh, và đây chắc chắn là lệnh. Đừng mang Covid đi theo trên mọi nẻo đường. Biết bao người đã cống hiến thời giờ, mà sống quý báu của mình. Dù nằm sân xi măng nhưng trái tim cờ sao bay. Trái tim tổ quốc hướng tới đồng bào. Việt Nam ta quá ngọt ngào như lúa thơm, bao la cánh cò bay. Hãy yêu và giữ đất nước của mình, dòng tiến văn hiến ngàn đời quyền đấu tranh, thắng giặc corona.
Đây là dịch bệnh chứ không phải quà biếu, không cần trao tay xin cảm ơn rất nhiều. TV công chiều mỗi ngày cứ đón xem, cập nhật tình hình xin đừng có dối ren.
Muốn làm việc tốt thì xin hãy ở nhà, ngăn ngừa dịch bệnh là việc của chúng ta. Khẩu trang đâu? Nước rửa tay đâu? Nếu chưa có, xin hãy mua mau.
Là bài học thật lớn cho sự tự giác, là trách nhiệm mỗi công dân trong tâm phó thác, là những ánh đèn của thành phố cần được sáng lên, là những gương mặt không còn che cần được biết tên,
là những hoài nghi và lo sợ người đối diện mình, gặp nhau không tay bắt bật mừng mà cứ lặng thinh. Xin được chia buồn với những người đã từng nằm xuống, dịch corona cấp báo động đang liên hoàn những hồi chuông.
Đêm ngày lo dịch kia đang ở đâu, lòng dân thì lo lắng bất an, cuộc sống đâu dễ dàng. Và giờ mới hết dịch đây ta.
Bao dòng lệ từng rơi lúc khó khăn, Việt Nam của ta luôn đấu tranh, hai tổ quốc có lên. Ở yên một chỗ để tránh dịch bệnh, và đây chắc chắn là lệnh. Đừng mang Covid đi theo trên mọi nẻo đường. Biết bao người đã cống hiến thời giờ, mà sống quý báu của mình. Dù nằm sân xi măng nhưng trái tim cờ sao bay. Trái tim tổ quốc hướng tới đồng bào. Việt Nam ta quá ngọt ngào như lúa thơm, bao la cánh cò bay. Hãy yêu và giữ đất nước của mình, dòng tiến văn hiến ngàn đời quyết đấu tranh, thắng giặc corona. Ngôi nhà chung Việt Nam của chúng ta, chào bao người con ở xứ xa quay về với quê nhà.
Mong bình yên được gieo khắp thế gian, sự sống trở về xua bóng đêm, yêu Việt Nam chúng tôi.
Let's go.
Ngày dậy lại trôi ta lại bước vào một môi trường mới, nơi mà mọi người đều rất xa lạ đến từ khắp mọi nơi, và chẳng dễ dàng để thích ứng như là thời cấp 3, bởi trên thanh xuân đại học rộng lớn đang ở trước mắt ta. Đã qua rồi những ngày tháng là ta chọn trường, may mắn thay gia đình đã bên cạnh giúp ta định hướng, và rồi ta là một phần của VNUIS, nơi mà những ngày đầu ta đến đã nhận được đầy ắp tình thương, một nơi mà ta không còn lo ta đến từ đâu. Dù chưa phải là quá nhiều nhưng ta nghĩ là cũng đủ lâu để ta hiểu được mọi người luôn luôn sẵn sàng chào đón ta, chào nhau những cái ôm ấm áp và không quan tâm đến những hình xăm ở trên da. Ngôi nhà này có 3 cổng, và thì chỉ có cổng 1 mà ra thì cũng chỉ cổng 3. Bản thân không được lêu lỏng, ta trưởng thành lên theo từng ngày, hoàn thiện bản thân theo từng giây, và rồi nhận ra đây chính là chương mới ở trong cuộc đời ta.
Đến đây cùng với tôi, vẽ xa bầu trời xanh, dưới áng mây lưng lờ trôi, lắng nghe chuyện tôi với bạn. Đến chân trời ước mơ, tôi được sải cánh bay xa, người ở nơi đó
Lờ ngờ ta được diễn trên sân khấu, lần đầu diễn trước các thầy cô, lại tự biến mình thành gã ngốc buồn bơ vơ trước những ánh mắt ta buồn muốn chui xuống hầm cầu. Man, do hôm nay ta đã chốc, cảm giác nặng trĩu, bạn hữu vây quanh để an ủi. Lửa trong ta thiếu nhưng vẫn có người đến mang củi cháy để cho ta không bị thất vọng lần này rồi cản chân, cất giọng vì họ và để ta vượt qua bản thân. Tạm biệt những ngày cũ, vẫn ngày học vẫn nồng nổi, cha mẹ mong mỏi nhưng ta lại không đổi. Để rồi đại học khiến ta hứng thú đến chuyện học hành, hoàn thiện con người qua những bài học được song hành. International School tiếng Anh được cập nhật, phát âm không lập bập, hiểu bài trên lớp đâu gật gật. Thầy trò mây mò chia sẻ về bài giảng, những giây phút như vậy còn quý hơn tài sản.
Cảm giác như là ta vừa về tới nhà, một nơi mà ta được sống với đam mê của mình tới già, một nơi mà ta được sống đúng với bản chất và tính tình, một nơi mà ta được hạnh phúc và thỏa sức là chính mình, một nơi cho ta cảm giác như là ta vừa về tới nhà, một nơi mà ta được sống với đam mê của mình tới già, một nơi mà ta được sống đúng với bản chất và tính tình, một nơi mà ta được hạnh phúc và thỏa sức là chính mình.
Đến đây cùng với tôi vẽ xa bầu trời xanh, dưới áng mây lững lờ trôi, lắng nghe chuyện tôi với bạn. Đến chân trời ước mơ, tôi được soi cánh bay xa, bởi ở nơi đó tôi được là chính mình.
Do you ever feel like you're missing pieces of the puzzle of your life? Do you ever dream of making your future full of lighters in the sky? Just do what it takes to break free, 'cause you got a chance to believe a whole new world is waiting for you. We're gonna fly, we're gonna fight for what is right. Straight from my heart, when I can feel this is the start of something new. Ooh, straight from my heart, when I can feel this is the start of something new. You may see things ain't easy in your early 20s. Keep it real, no big deal. Dreams can be in shape of uncertainty. You never know what tomorrow comes. Just free your heart beating to the drums. Free your mind and soul. Follow the route that you wanna go. Conquer the world, businesses, IT cops, entrepreneurs. You name ISOs international. We gonna break all the barriers. Knock, 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 your vision we share. Knock, 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 your future we care. Unlock the doors. On top, we're gonna run, we're gonna fly, we're gonna fight for what is right. Straight from my heart, when I can feel this is the start of something new. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
tình chúng mình. Cớ sao còn yêu nhau mà mình không thể đến được với nhau? Vì anh đã sai hay bởi vì bên em có ai kia? Chẳng ai có thể hiểu nổi được trái tim khi đã lỡ yêu rồi. Chỉ biết trách bản thân đã mù quáng, chót yêu một người vấp vả. Từng lời hứa như vết sao lạnh lùng cắn thật sâu trái tim này. Vì muốn thấy em hạnh phúc nên anh sẽ lùi về sau. Thời gian qua chúng ta liệu sống tốt hơn hay cứ mãi dối lừa? Nhìn người mình thương ngược nhòe mi cay khiến tim này càng thêm đau. Người từng khiến anh thay đổi là em đã mãi xa rồi. Thôi giấc mơ khép lại, ký ức kia gửi theo. Dối lừa, nhìn người mình thương ngược quê mi cay khiến tim này càng thêm đau. Người từng khiến anh thay đổi là em đã mãi xa rồi. Thôi giấc mơ khép lại, ký ức kia gửi theo.
I know I'm a nerd, but I just want you guys to bear with me for a moment and let me explain a little bit of why the name Wonder Woman means so much to us. Actually, in the 1940s, William Moulton Marston, a psychologist who actually a consultant for the old American publications, which now then become the famous DC Comics, he was actually a very big part of inventing the lie detector, the very first world polygraph. And at that time, he was just a consultant at DC Comics, and he wanted to create a superhero for himself. And after a lot of thought and inspiration, he wanted a figure of a hero who triumphed, but not using the power of fist or firepower, but rather with the strength of love and compassion. And so, thus we have the character, the creation of the character Diana Prince, a woman who's not only very famous for her combat prowess, but also triumphed a lot of battles and in the war zone, but also show a lot of empathy and compassion to what she does. And in a sense, we often think that in the tech industries and women oftentimes underrepresented. And the figure of Diana Prince and Wonder Woman in general also reflects so much of the female and the woman demographics in the tech industries. And today, I'm very happy to present to you the three esteemed guests who are made from different background, different walk of life, but they won't share the commons. They have the passions for what they do. They have a journey. They have so much stories and experience that they would love to share with you guys. And also, they are with the tech industry are becoming more and more pervasive. They all have a common that they're working in tech and technology-related fields, but in a very different aspect of technologies. First of all, I would want to introduce to you all Dr. Lemai Nguyen. She's an associate professor in information system and business analytics from Deakin Business School, Deakin University. Can you hear me, Dr. Lemai? Okay. I can see you now. I think. Can you hear me? Yes, I can hear you perfectly well now.
Okay, great. Yes. thank you very much, and I'm very delighted to be here. Thanks so much for offering this opportunity to meet with your audience.
Thank you so much. How are you today? I know you are joining us from Melbourne, Australia, right? And what time is it where you're at now?
7 in the evening, and it's a beautiful Sunday. I cannot complain.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for spending your precious time on Sunday evening to be with us. We're glad to have you here with us. Next with us, we have our second founder of Tubbud. And it is an innovative platform that offers a unique and limitless service of connecting individuals traveling to Vietnam to local people. And it's the host. Just think about it as a platform where all the travelers got to meet with young, dynamic, enthusiastic locals to help them enrich their experience in traveling to Vietnam. Hi, Annie. How are you today? I'm sorry, can we have the sound on?
Oh, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly well now.
Perfect. Yeah. Say hi again to everyone. Hi. Thank you for having me in the program today.
Thank you so much. And how are you today? Are you feeling better now?
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm recovering after the COVID-19. Let me tell you, it's not a good thing to have. But yeah, I am feeling so much better today.
Hey, again, thank you so much for making it today and being here with us today. Our third guest today, I just want to save it for last. Not because she's not as important as two other guests, but because she's right here next to me. And she is actually has a lot more in common with our viewers, the audience, which are the majority of them are VNUIS students. I have Nguyễn Ngọc. She is an alumni, one of our very own VNUIS alumni. And Ngọc An is currently is a communication supervisor at Positive Thinking Company. And she's here with us, and not only to share her journey, but also to be a part of these wonderful conversations we have here this afternoon. Okay. Hello, Ngọc An, would you like to say hi to the audience?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Trung, and hello, everybody here. And I guess that all you here can hear me well, clearly. And it's a good chance for me to be here today and together with another distinguished guest from the online platform. Yes, so I hope that we'll enjoy the moment today, and we will have some valuable stories to share with all VNUIS students.
Okay, thank you so much, Ngọc An. Well, thank you guys. The reason why we wanted to have this talk show because not only we want to use this opportunity to celebrate the achievement, strength, and the beauty of Vietnamese women, but also we want to find the topics, we find the conversations that are relevant and that we find are much valuable to our students. At VNUIS, we have a student body of 4,600 students who are majority are female, and half of them are pursuing programs in technology and technology related. And so it's by no accident that we have our three wonderful guests today here with us. I know the theme is Wonder Woman in Tech, and as I explained before, there's a lot of reason behind why we choose the name of that. And there was a few comments when we exchanged with some of our guests with the production team before the program began that some of them felt a bit underwhelmed and a bit pressured by the name Wonder Woman. But I think the term Wonder Woman is more relevant to you guys than you guys think are. And I know because with such humility and with such humbleness, of course, you guys will often feel a bit overwhelmed with the name Wonder Woman. I just want to start with a little quick trivia. To start it out, to getting to know our guests a little bit, but not in the traditional manner. Well, so just bear with me, okay? Because I'm such a nerd and I'm a huge DC Comics fan. But hey, how many chances do I have to be here with all of this, distinguished guests and talking about the Wonder Woman? So Wonder Woman is known to having a lot of superpowers, and superpowers are not just given to her at birth, but it was gained and earned through her experience. And I just pick out the 5 the 5 superpowers from Wonder Woman, and I want to ask short relevant questions to our guests today. Okay, first superpower is from the goddess of wisdom, Pallas Athena, granting Wonder Woman the ability to master a dozen languages. So I just want to add a quick question: how many languages do our guests speak? Do you guys speak? Besides, I'm sure that all of you are fluent in Vietnamese, so I just would love to hear that. Do you guys speak any other language other than Vietnamese? Or if not, then what would be the language that you would love to learn someday? What are you, An? I want to start with you.
Actually, I want to learn Thai.
Thai? Is there a reason for it?
Firstly, I really love visiting Thailand. I love Thai cuisine too. And also, you know, the MGI Vietnam. Yeah, she makes the Vietnam proud. So I would like to learn some Thai sentences to make friends with Thai people.
I think awesome, awesome. Well, what are you, Annie? I'm sure you have a lot of travel experience, and you seem, you have a wonderful British accent, by the way. I love that just from the moment you open up speaking. So do you speak any other language besides Vietnamese and English? Wow, that's awesome. Wow, you're going to be a polyglot in no time. Well, thank you, Anne. Well, you, Dr. Lemai, you speak any other language besides Vietnamese and English? Or if not, then what would you want to learn someday?
Nowadays, I speak English as well and elsewhere, but at home I speak Vietnamese. I also speak Vietnamese with some community that I participate in. Otherwise, I used to speak some other languages, but I forgot that all, and now I speak Python. It counts as a language. And I wish that I would be better or learn more Korean language like you, because I love watching Korean dramas and movies.
That's awesome. Saving the world by day, watching Korean drama at night. That's lovely, wonderful. Thank you so much. All right, let's look at the second superpower. Well, the Artemis, who is the goddess of the hunt, granting the ability to unify with animals. So, do you guys own any pets, or do you have any animal spirit? Like, if you could be an animal, which one would you be and why?
Could I answer first?
Yes, please.
Because I really love dolphin.
Dolphin?
Yes.
Okay, great.
So,
do you have a dolphin as pet, or would you love to be one?
I have a fluffy dolphin
I
on my
see.
bed.
What about dolphin that makes you fall in love with it?
Actually, from my point of view, dolphin is a lovely animal, and I guess he's not she, right? He is so cute, and he can understand languages a lot. So is the reason why I really love dolphin.
That's
and
awesome.
I hope someday I will have some more dolphins on my bed. I mean, fluffy ones.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
That's good to know. What about you guys? Annie?
Usually people choose like an animal spirit and choose a wild one. And at that, my wild one would be a cheetah, because it's the fastest animal on earth. But I think I would love to be a dog. And I do have a dog. I love dogs, and I think dogs are magic. They're definitely better than me. And I believe that dogs, cats are the previous life of a human life. So they're here to help human, also to help them to learn how to love and become humans on the next life. So yeah.
Wow, that's wonderful. What's the name of the guy or her that you have at home? What's the name of your buddy?
It's a she. She's called Denny, and Denny's 4 years old, and she's mixed race, so she's very tiny. She's very small. But she's
That's awesome. See, you're already commanding Danny at home, and so you guys are more, familiar to Diana Prince than you guys think. Dr. Lemai, do you have pets at home, or what do you consider your animal spirit?
I have never thought about being an animal, but if I can choose, maybe I would like to be a phoenix, because the phoenix can dance and they can fly high, and you can soar to explore the world.
That's awesome. Rising from the ashes. Thank you so much. Well, okay. We have Hestia, the goddess of earth and home, granting the ability to control the fire of truth. This probably can be a tough question. What is the biggest lie you have ever heard of? It could be from a person, it could be from a society, it could be from a YouTube video, it could be from anything. What is probably the biggest lie you ever heard of?
Maybe you should give another guess.
Okay, sure.
Yes.
Dr. Lemai, do you want to start with this one? Probably the biggest lie you ever heard of?
For many people are very talented and very bright. I don't want to sound like religious in this event, but my true hero is the Buddha. I'm sorry. It's what I really truly feel. Because the more I learn about science, my research, communities, societies, my whole life, I see a lot of things I can learn from my hero.
That's awesome. So the implement, but not contradicting. So, all right. Thank you for your answer. What about you, Annie? The biggest lie you ever heard? Could be from anything or anyone.
I personally always think that there's many more things out there that I don't understand or don't know yet. So maybe it might be a lie to me right now, but maybe it's just the limit of my knowledge. So I wouldn't really state that there is anything a lie, but regarding to Dr. Lemai's religions, I think one of the things that religious people always say is that my God always better than your God, and I think that's probably a lie.
Wow, that's awesome. Very witty that is. What are you, Ngọc An? I'm curious to hear.
Actually, I have spending time a lot to think about what is the lies I have heard, but actually I think I really believe in people. So maybe I don't think I have given any lies on my life, but maybe one sentence for my dad.
Oh.
You were so cute, and could you give me some support?
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so it's just the way he asked me to support him. So yes.
When he needed something from you.
Yes.
All right. I think we have something very similar here because probably one of the biggest lies that I heard, sadly, I mean, not in a bad way, but sadly was actually from my parents too, because my parents always told me that if I didn't, be the best student in school, that I would have no future. So apparently, as long as you live, you still have some kind of future, right? So, all right. We have Hermes, the messenger of Godspeed, granting the ability to fly. And I know we have Annie here. Annie is someone who travels a lot and flew to so many different countries and works so many different international places. And Professor Lemai is also someone who lived abroad for a long time as well. So I just want to hear about your flying experience. How many countries have you flown to, and which was your most favorite place to fly to visit or to work or to whatever the purpose could be? Annie, I want to start with you.
Well, I think I flew to, and I've actually visited about 27, 30
Wow.
countries up to now. And my favorite place is in Italy. It's 5 islands called Cinque Terre.
Oh.
And I decided to go to that islands, a group of islands in one minute. Then I decided to let's go there. And it's absolutely beautiful place, and I feel like that is what I would imagine a holiday heaven would be like, and that was exactly that.
That's awesome. And where was it ago? I'm just a bit curious about that minute where you just make that decisions to just travel across the world like that.
I was close. I was living in the UK.
I see.
And then my mom and my brother went to Europe, and then I flew to Europe to do a tour, not a tour, but like a couple of places. But then we decided the next destination. Pretty much from where we are, we didn't have any plan. It's very spontaneous. So I was in Paris, somewhere in Paris. I know in Switzerland. And then someone told me about Cinque Terre, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it tomorrow. And then we follow that.
That's awesome. That sounds like a blast. Well, thank you for the answer. Dr. Lemai, what about you? I'm sure you live in Australia, so you have seen, plenty of beautiful sights. So what's your favorite place to fly to?
I've been to many countries and spent I have the most of my time in Australia. I love to go back to Europe. I have the UK or France because there's so much to learn in there. A lot of museums, a lot of historical sites, and everywhere you can learn a lot. But I guess my next destination is Japan, because I have never been to that place. There's a lot of interesting things here.
It is. It really is. There's a whole world that to discover in Japan. So I hope that you will get that dream done someday. What about you, Ngọc An? I'm curious to hear.
Actually, I really love Korea.
Oh, you like Korea? Have you been to Korea before?
Yes, actually, I have visited Korea 3 times.
I see.
Before COVID-19.
Ah, I see. Was it for work or was it just for travel?
It's just traveling because I'm a truly wanderlust, and I can find some local restaurant and stores to explore the tradition and the culture of Korea, but not actually about the K-drama or K-idol.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I really love the traditional culture of every country. Even in Vietnam, I really like the lacquer and the hand embroidery too. So I would like to travel a lot to explore more the various culture in the
awesome.
world. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think when Tubbud, expand the network to Japan and Korea, then we can definitely, ask Annie for a helping hand there. All right, and last but not least, we have Aphrodite, the goddess of love. But I'm not gonna ask you about your personal life. Just a little small trivia thing. Can you guys just name one item of belonging that you think you can't live without, and a food item that you love the most? Do we want to start this time?
Yes, my turn, right?
Yes.
The stuff maybe is my notebook.
Oh.
Yes.
Is that a physical notebook or?
Yeah, the physical one, because I like writing on paper to remember all the things I need to do. And for the food, I really like vegetables. So I like
vegetables.
Yes.
Wow, you must be the dream child of all the parents. Yes. Eating all the vegetables, that's awesome.
And I like carrots.
Carrots specifically, is there a reason why?
Because the color, the orange, is so energetic and eye-catching to me.
Oh, I see.
And of course, carrot is so nutritious,
I see.
So
that's awesome. Why. It's all the promise of being the smartest, right? Eating the carrots.
Thanks.
Dr. Lemai, what's your favorite food? What are the food that you love the most? Yes.
I'm very greedy when it comes to eating. I love foods, so it's hard to pick up one. But I guess I really like Vietnamese food most. What I like from there, also to do with bún, I love it.
That's awesome. All right. Annie?
I think the one thing that I may not, and I would choose to not live without, probably lipsticks. It's either lipstick or my phone. The food, I am like Dr. Lemai, I am very greedy when it comes to food. I love food. I absolutely love food, especially noodles. All types of noodles. I wouldn't let it go to waste. I would eat phở, bún, miên, ramens, like all types of noodles, and I love them.
That's awesome. Welcome to the Noodle Club. By the way, if you love lipstick that much, I bet you would hate the pandemic, right? With the mask on. All right. I hope that just with some few trivia and small questions, we just get to see, just get the conversation going on a little bit, and just get to see, the personal side of it. Because I know a lot of the young students who are here, either, we have like 20-ish people here with us in the studio, and we have about hundreds of students that are online at home. A lot of them has been anticipated to this event a lot, and they often look at the biography and look at the works of our guests, and oftentimes they would just feel like some sort of distance toward, and that would be something that they would want to see themselves to be in 5, 10, 15 years. So it's great to see that our guests here are just having fun and enjoying life, just like a regular person. For the next part, I really want to focus on the keyword is the journey, because I know that you guys are where you are today. It's not by chance, and it doesn't happen overnight. Whether you guys are excels in different fields, different aspects of technologies, but you guys have made a lot of progress. You guys have learned so much, and you guys have also contributed a lot. And so I just want to focus on the phrase journey here, and I want our guests to spend some time and to share more about their journeys, about what do they do. And first, I want to start with Dr. Lemai. Dr. Lemai is currently a lecturer and a researcher at Deakin University, and she specializes in artificial intelligence, digital health, information systems. I just want to start with a simple question. What is a regular day at work, a typical day at work for you, Dr. Mai? What is it like?
A typical day at work, it really varies. It depends on the days, and within the teaching trimester, again, it depends whether I have class or not. Yes, it really varies, but usually I would try to block some good time, good block of time in the morning to do something that matters most for me, so I can feel proud for the rest of the day. Usually it would be something to do with research. I love reading and doing data analysis. When I know very well about my data analysis, when I feel more confident to write, I love writing as well. Then after that, my attention is about teaching, so looking at students, my subjects, and then the rest of the day is about communication, stakeholders, and other engagement. So I think it's pretty boring when we share like that.
No, I think it's a pretty packed day. Yeah, your day is pretty packed, and it's just productive. But since we talk a lot about the topic of artificial intelligence, and we talk so much about how it impacts our life, but and I don't want to act like an expert here, but we have a lot of students who studying information system and data analytics, and they often, have a lot of questions, a lot of doubts. So can you just once and for all just have us simplify and demystify the phrase artificial intelligence, what it is and how it impacts our life, and what are some of the jobs, the careers that we can have with artificial intelligence?
Thank you. It's a very, very broad but very important question. Really, and I'm from next week, I will be teaching the unit called Artificial Intelligence for Business. And that question you are just asking me now will be the topic of my first class in this subject. So we are talking about, when we're talking about artificial intelligence, you will hear a lot of big words out there, and people have different understandings about AI or artificial intelligence. It can be understood through or at two different levels. So for academics or researchers, it can be a study field where you learn and create understandings about what AI is, what intelligence is, and what it's like to be acting like human or thinking like human. However, with the industry, so in practice, then people are gearing towards solution development. So designing some solution using technologies that can empower different capabilities of people. And then there is a new challenging trend saying that we don't have to make a computer or AI that think like human or do things like people, but can achieve what people want to achieve in a more effective way, better way. And so it encompasses a range of capabilities: communication through language, through text, through image or vision, through thinking, cognitive analytics, but also a new trend now is social AI and emotion AI. So computer can also sense and feel and socialize with people. The next, I think, stop for researchers is to create computers or AI that can be aware of itself. So you can see that the world is unlimited, and hence when you apply it in business or in our society, there is unlimited possibilities or range of possibilities for you to think of. So in every domain, you can think of applications of AI, and it doesn't mean that AI will replace people. So for those of you who are directly working or learning coding or technology development, yes, maybe you will be involved in the design of AI. But there are also many possibilities for IS or information systems and business analytics students to think about at the two ends before you design technologies. What human problems we want to solve with AI? And you hand it over for the techie people to develop it. And then there are a lot of opportunities for other students to think about your career opportunities, about to bring AI solutions into human hands, into business and societies, designing ways that humans are in the loop of a interconnected network between human and technologies, different technologies, including AI. I don't want to take more time from others, but there are a lot of opportunities, and if you are interested in learning more, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to talk later, or if we have time today.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. That clears up quite a bit. And I'm happy that I still have a job in the future. But I'm sure probably talking to an AI program robot is a lot more fun than myself. But I guess can somewhat help us and assist us in the decision making. But it's good to know that it's some sort of just open up a new opportunity instead of taking away jobs and things that we often have myths about. And so I just want to move to the questions of Ngọc An. You're currently working as a communications supervisor. So you started out at university, but you did not major in a technology programs. So how do you stumble on tech companies? Because I know that positive thinking is not your first tech endeavor. So do you want to share a little bit on your journey?
Actually, maybe it's based on my career plan first, because I want to be a communicator. I want to work for marketing communication, but which industry that I have to choose? So I had to do the research. So I find out that IT or information technology industry is really suitable for my characteristic. Why? Reason why, I think many people are curious, right? Because you know that information technology had a lot of employees who are male, almost. But it's not my reason, you know?
It could be, yeah.
Yeah, but the reason is that almost male employees or female employees in IT industry, they are so fun and so creative. And every working day is an innovative way. So it's the reason why I'm interested in that industry. So I'm trying to apply. So my first destination is Nasdaq, and now is positive thinking. They are all great place to work in the Asia continent. So I'm happy to work for the IT industry. So I think that we should try and do the research for the industry you want to accompany first.
That's great.
Yeah.
I think that's wonderful. And would you mind sharing with the audience what do you do as a communication supervisor? Like what is your role? How do you play into the whole, in the big scheme of the company?
Yes, I'm in charge of marketing, communication, and branding of the company. It means the corporate communications and also some branding activities like CSR or some kind of sponsorship program. And to improve the employer brand of the company is my major in my work now. So how I start a day, I'm a coffee alcoholic. So I will start with a cup of coffee first and to refresh my day, and then I will start my work. Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. And actually, one of our other guests here today, Annie, she also holds a degree in international events management, and she also has a very strong background in PR and marketing. But the work she does now integrate a whole, a big part of technology into it. So would you want to share with us your prior experience before Tubbud? Because I want to, to save, the best for last. We have a lot of things to discuss about the wonderful project of Tubbud, but we just want to share a little bit about the time your experience in the UK and what did you, decided to move to UK to take on the challenge, and what have you done there in the UK while you were there?
Got a long story. Are you ready for this?
Yes, please. Bring it on.
So when I graduated, so when I was on the second year of university, I studied public relations at Academy of Journalism and Communications. So pretty much all my friends are journalists, and everybody was working for journalism or newspapers or a media company. Yes, my background was in communications, PR as well. But on those second years, I was working as a founding team of a PR firm, and we started doing PR and events. So we were the first people who were working on the Backstreet Boys tours when they came to Vietnam in 2004, and that was me. I was their personal assistant in Vietnam, so throughout the whole program, the whole tour. And then by the time I graduated from the Academy of Journalism and Communications, I already have 3 years experiences in PR and events, communication, branding, marketing and as a whole. And I wanted to do something different. So I started to go around, jump on events to events job for different events, different companies, different groups. So I can experience more on the other side, on the customer side, on the client side, on the agency side. And then I decided to go into more in deep because I love events. I love events management. I love the fact that I can stand behind a stage, but make it like the magic, like kind of manage it and make it happen. Like all the things that happen on stage was because of the people behind it, right? So I'd love to be that person, and that's why I wanted to study in depth more in international events management, and that's when I decided to go to the UK. I lived and studied in Manchester definitely a city that you all want to go to because it's so enriched in culture, in people, in tradition, in everything. Music, art, life, events, everything is so enriched there. And that's why I got my degrees from at the moment. I volunteered in so many events in Manchester. I worked there for 2 years after my graduation. And during that time, I was lucky to work in a sales marketing company. And I got into the business development manager of the company, working, and then they opened up the whole social media agency for me to work particularly on that project. And then we started out working with a lot of key speakers in the world and motivational speakers, and that's where I learned about entrepreneurial, and I really wanted to do something in my life that I would leave a legacy to, like, you know, bigger than me, bigger than myself. And that's when I decided to jump into entrepreneurship. And looking back with all of the, you know, my hobby was in traveling. I love travel, and I love to do something for Vietnam's tourism, and, you know, connecting a lot of the dots, and that's where Tubbud was born.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. That's extremely inspiring, and I really admire the story and just the reason why you're doing what you do. Could you share with me some more about what was the deciding moment when you know that the synergy between technology and tourism is the key and it's the origin of Tubbud? Can you just you know, elaborate a little bit on that?
I mean, I love technology, like, because events take on a lot of technology forwards. And actually, my dissertation for my master's degree was about technology in events. And how I want to the events to use more technology on the year forwards, and how I can really see, even without the COVID-19, this is going to be the future of events. Hybrids, what we are doing right now, this is going to be the next generation, right? The Gen Z, whatever, like you guys call it. Whatever after that is going to be this. It's going to be about technology. But at the end of the day, I studied it out from PR. I studied out from communications. I studied it out from human contact. I studied out from understanding human and knowing human. And to me, in the human needs triangle, human contact is number one. Before anything, you would lose anything, but you cannot lose the human contact. The moment that when you isolate yourself, the one you crave the most is actually talking to someone. And I think Dr. Lemai would really, really understand this, because as a person living in another country, sometimes you're craving for speaking Vietnamese, and you would just speak to yourself, right? Or you would speak to mirror, you speak to the wall. You would do that because you're craving human needs and human touch in your life. And I was thinking so hard on how to use technology, and at the same time use technology to make humans closer to each other. And that's when, you know, I decided to use technology to become the bridge that needed between humans and people when they travel to other countries, or they want to travel to a place that they don't know about. In order to, that bridge would help them to shorten the language barriers, to shorten the culture shock, and to shorten all of this, and make people actually closer to each other.
That's wonderful. I just want to have one quick question follow up with that. Since we're talking about Tubbud, can you just use one quick sentence to say what would be your Tubbud profile would be if you have to use one sentence on that?
Tubbud profile?
Yes. Just with one sentence.
If I was your guy, if I was your local buddy, I think my sentence would be, I will show you the best place to eat, to drink, and to visit, be immersed in actually a Vietnamese person, and would way much more entertainment than you do it yourself. So
That's awesome. That sounds promising. It's even more appealing to a local like me. Thank you so much, Annie. Since we talk about human contact, since we're talking about with the technologies, technology is the ways for us to advancing forward in this time of the pandemic. We're thankful because we still have this opportunity to talk and to share information with each other. But I just want to ask Dr. Lemai a bit. So what is like, how has it changed with the way we work and the way the young people learn nowadays? Because since you are besides a researcher, you're also delivering courses at universities. And just from the point of what Annie just mentioned, that human contact is actually one of the fundamental thing of the way our society works, the way we function, and the way we advance towards. So how has it changed? And with the future is being like this, what do you think, what will be your advice for some of the young students in the way they study nowadays? Is it a new opportunity for them to reach out to the world? Or would it set out a limitation of how young people are very limited in human contact?
Thank you very much. That's a very, very thoughtful, very important, critical question nowadays. We remember when we went to university, there was, we had to write our own lecture notes. Nowadays, students get lecture notes from the internet. They can access recordings from Zoom, and it's exactly what Annie just said. We feel like, on one hand, we have more opportunities to learn. We access to many other experts, beyond the local experts within your university. You can go to LinkedIn, and you can go to many other ResearchGate websites. You meet with different professors all around the world, and some people are very brave. And I also encourage my students to reach out and find what you're interested in. Who are the key professors or experts in the field are? Follow them. In LinkedIn you follow them. In ResearchGate you follow them. In different professional societies you follow them. And then don't hesitate to contact them and say, I like this idea. Or I have another idea I'd like to share with you. So they are great opportunities for the students nowadays. But coming back to what you just asked, there are also some aspects of learning that students need to be aware of. It's also about human contact. So it's not only the online communication. You really need to bring back to very things, people you meet with every day, and even you meet online, but understanding the needs, creating that, the boundaries when you can reach out and talk to people, so that your solutions, the technology solutions, will make sense, will solve the problem, rather than just doing things because it's possible to satisfy your own, maybe intellectual curiosity. It's good, but it's not enough. So reaching out to people is very important. And when I talk with other people, they are very senior, they're almost C-level, chief executive managers in our advisory board, industry advisory board. What they tell us, if we want graduates who have to have technology knowledge, but beyond that, two more things they want from the students. One is business acumen. They need to have an understanding of how business operates, how organizations operate. They have to have an understanding of the structure in the organization, who makes decisions, how decisions are made, who is doing what in the business, and what business sense, what kind of data, how they sense what's going on to make decisions, to respond. So that's called business acumen. But the other thing is about human quality. So you need to be able to stretch out. Now we can't do it after the, during the pandemic, and after pandemic, we say reach out to handshake someone. And now basically you need to be able to go there and say hello, and you have to make some communication. You open up and you make friends, you make colleagues, you know, in organizations, being able to immerse in an organizations. And if you just sit at home and learn everything online, I'm not sure whether you can get that kind of people skills. So to sense and to know when someone might want or when they might not want to share how they feel at work, how we pick it up. So that's really important. And together with that is a personal development. You have to develop yourself into someone. So it's about your own personality and personal development to get other skills, like, you know, are human, being able to understand other, being able to grow and understand why you are not happy, when you are happy, and what you want in life. So that's kind of broad things that I think that people need to get opportunities to reach out and learn to technologies, but at the same time develop other aspects that technology nowadays may limit you from touching or talking with others because you are too focusing on your screen. So your best friend is a mobile phone and your computers. So that's perhaps my advice.
That's awesome. I think you are just spot on. And that echoes so much to me personally because before getting this teaching job at VNUIS, I was actually working at a Big Four firm too, and I was just doing public accounting. And I always tell my students that for the 100% scale of difficulty, only 30% of them is technical, and the 70% is how you overcome the difficulty that the people around you that brings in front of you. And it's actually a funny story that one of the audience here today in the studio, she is my student, and we have not seen each other for the whole year, and we had classes together. Today is actually the first time that we got to see each other, and I think that's important that we point out to the young students now that we can learn all the knowledge in the world, we can learn all the good things, all the insights from all the experts, and it's only a click of the mouse button away from you. But the important thing that you gotta experience, you gotta connect, because there's no way in this world we can just do everything by ourselves behind a computer screen. And we have Ngọc An here. Ngọc An is actually was a student at VNUIS, but I bet the time when you were a student, things was a lot different. However, coming from a student who had a business background and working in a tech company, I'm sure that you have to always work with a constant learning process. So what advice you give to other young students in a working place where you have to learn completely new things pretty much every day like that?
I think it's a self-motivation for everybody you need to have first. And I just want to share my story because I'm not good at advising. I just want to share, and I hope it's valuable to all of you guys. When I was a student, I had to clarify and determine what is my career plan in the future, what I want to be in the next 5 years. And then I will make a detailed plan and a timeline for that. And then I try to achieve one step by step. And I think you should have the self-motivation first and so determination to your career plan or your goal or your objectives. And that's it. And what about the study? You need study over everybody, but you need to practice more, not only study. So I think that the students should improve their experience, I mean the working experience. And of course the study. You should have a good result, of course, and have a good practical experience too. That's it.
Okay, thank you so much. Ngọc An is actually one of the students who excels at a lot of things. She received a lot of prestigious scholarships while she was in school. She was also the runner-up of the beauty pageant at our university. So she was, one of those students that your parents always compare yourself and your younger siblings to. And so she's one of those students. However, I just wanted to ask a question. Now, there's a different angle. We know that all of our guests have achieved a lot. You guys have made so much progress in your career. But what can you remember? What are the time of difficulties? What are some of the time where you have a lot of problems? And how do you solve problems? How do you overcome difficulties? Would you have any stories on that to share with us?
Yes, it's the time when I was on the third year. I had to define what I really want to do. So I have to see my inner voice and to find out what I really want to be. And I believe that thanks to the pandemic, all of you guys here have the resilience inside your heart. And I think you should think of yourself and listen to yourself. And then you're going to find out the solution. As you know that when you are sad, no side is cheerful. It's one sentence from the Tale of Kiều by Nguyễn, right? So it means that you, yes, it means that you should believe on yourself first. Be yourself, and then everything will be all right.
That's awesome. I love that. International school student quoting Nguyễn. That's awesome. I love that. What a day. Well, talking about difficulties, we have one of our guests is someone who I would say it would not be an exaggeration to say somebody who loves difficulties and take challenges head on. Annie, I did quite some research on your achievement and what the media has talked about you, has said about you. And one of the things that struck me, that impressed me so much when you said that you love to tango with challenges. And so I know you took the tourism industry head on, but since 2018 till now, especially for the past 2 years, it has been nothing but a lot of difficulty and struggle. So how are you tangoing with all the whole scheme of the pandemic now? How's Tubbud coping with that?
I think when I did that interview, it was in 2019, or maybe early 2020, and I think it really hit me like, no, I did not like to tango with it that much. Well, that long. 2 years is really long. Well, fortunately, Tubbud is doing well. And actually, we make more profit than we were before the COVID-19. We did, go through all the strugglings and challenges in order to be where we are today. Then over the last 2 years, we have to cut down the team, expanding, cut down a lot of times, and it is absolutely a struggle. But I'm very, very proud of my team. Not only me, but everybody is on the team. Everybody have been with us. I'm very grateful for them throughout this whole COVID things. And they're very rare. A day that we would be all together in the office. We would go through a phase of that, have 4 days all together, and then 2 weeks got like 1 or 2 people in the office. But I mean, it's incredible to have a team that's resilient with you, not only just you, but it takes 2 people to tango. But I think for business, it takes more than 2 people to tangle with challenges. And I'm very grateful for whoever is in my team, the people who support Tubbud, the people who believe in Tubbud, up until today. But in short, we've been doing great over the last 2 years. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, congratulations, by the way. And I just want to have another follow-up question since we're on Tubbud, on the topic of Tubbud. You guys have started a tourism business, and you are one of the few entrepreneurs, businesswomen where I really respect. You have the true entrepreneurship spirit, because I know there are a lot of startups nowadays. It's not something that uncommon anymore, but I feel like it takes a lot of determination, it takes a lot of bravery, and to truly understand and to take on that spirit, to truly take the challenges to the next level. So what are some of the advices you would give to the young student who are hesitating? Because oftentimes the thing I believe that stops the student from actually following an entrepreneurship dream is just the uncertainty of it and the risk of it. And in our society, the way our parents teach us and raise us, the way schools and the way the job system are being set up, it often encourages the stability, the safety. So what would you say to somebody who's still on edge and who's still need that little push to make the leap further?
I mean, compared to a lot of students in the world, like you go to America, you go to Europe, even maybe in Australia, Vietnamese students are pretty good in entrepreneurship. And we are so used to it in a way that our parents are very great in entrepreneurship. And we has become like this generation of dare and take risks a lot. So as a whole, it's also a good thing already for Vietnamese students. But for people who a little bit hesitate, I mean, if everybody gonna take an easy way and be successful, then everybody will be successful, right? Everybody will be that 1% of the world who have made it, right? But unfortunately, life is not that easy, and it's not gonna be all roses and blue skies all the time. You're gonna have this stepping stone. You're gonna have a massive step that you have to overcome. You have to be a bigger one, bigger yourself for every challenges that you have to face up with. And if every single time, if you choose a hard choice, a hard decision, if you take risks and you take the challenges head on, then those ones will become the easy choice for you. And what isn't, the life will become so much easy, because then if you have gone through so many hard choices, then there's no more hard choice for you to make, and the rest is going to be easy. So it's either make the hard choice first and then enjoy it later on, or enjoy it and then get stuck with the choice that you can't get away with, because you cannot take an easy choice all the time. At one point, it's between a hard choice and a hard choice. So what was you gonna do? So I would say follow your heart, because whatever you do, if you don't follow your heart, you will lose. If you follow your heart, you will always win. So whatever you do, whatever hard decision, easy decision, just follow your heart. You know yourself, you know what you want, follow your guts, and whatever that leads you, that's an adventure.
That's awesome. That's poetic. And by the way, I love the half glass full thinking, the way to look at it though. And I'm just curious, if it weren't for Tibet, if it weren't for that journey to the UK, to Europe, and what would you say that, who would you be now? What kind of job would you probably be doing?
UK, or get an opportunity to meet people there and lead into Tibet now. I would probably be somewhere in the world now. I've probably been in South Korea. I was living there for a few months back in 2019 for Tubbud. But I think there's a lot of opportunities there, and that's why I love the language, and I am studying the language. So maybe I will probably go to South Korea doing something, or if not, go to America. I love America. It's a free country. It's absolutely everything you make, you can sell in America. And it is a great market. And I think I would let myself go free and follow my heart, and wherever that leads to, I would probably take the chance. And I dropped everything to go to the UK. A lot of people think that I didn't have a job in Vietnam, or like I just graduated and then I just go straight to the UK to study. No, I had a full-time job in Vietnam. I had really well paid in Vietnam, and then I dropped everything and decided to just go to the UK, and then I got the scholarship, and then I went to the UK and I studied, and I started out from the beginning again in the UK, and I started out from entry level again, earning like beans on nothing in the UK. Had to start from the making coffee for everybody in the office again. And then when I decided I'm gonna do it for Tubbud, I decided to move back to Vietnam, and that was starting from the bottom again. So I have started from the bottom 3 times in my life. Well, I'm not from Hanoi, right? I'm from a small village, small town. And I went to Hanoi for a university, and I started out from the bottom. So that's 1, 2, 3, 3 times already. See, to me, starting out from the bottom again, it's no big deal.
That's awesome. That's something to very important to take away. And I just want to say thank you for whatever the reason that you chose what you did. I'm glad what you did, and so that we can have the anniversary of today being here with us. So thank you again for that. Dr. Lemai, since we on the track of talking about how society, how our cultures has ingrained in a lot of the young students in Vietnam of the way we should think of a career, and somehow oftentimes as somebody who just newly joined the educational field, I would say that oftentimes students are being put in a box of thinking of how they should prepare for the future. And as you can notice that Ngọc An was a student who excels with her academics, but who still struggled, who found a lot of difficulties at her second university in deciding what to do. And with Annie, the story is you know, even though it's amazing and it's adventurous, but it's the struggle of fighting and willing to you know, take learning all over again from point zero. So as someone who has years of experience in influencing and talking and teaching and guiding the young students, what do you think are some of the way that we teach, the way we encourage, and the way we interact with the students to kind of help them to, you know, feel safely to step out of that box, even though whatever outside that box may not feel safe to them? What do you say?
Clarify, are you thinking what would be the skills a student need to acquire in order to step into the big world, wide world? Is it your question?
Yes, I'm just saying, what do you think, how do we change the way we teach our students? How the way we help them prepare to make them don't feel like they are making a sacrifice. They either choose to giving up this in order to pursue that. But instead, rather just, you know, helping them to realize that we're just on the process of preparing ourselves. And I think that has a lot to do with the university experience, because 4 years at the time of 18 to 22 is a lot of development in their mental state, a lot of development in their perspective on the life, on the society. And so as someone who has years of experience, and especially you been giving lectures at international universities, what could you think that university in Vietnam could do to help the student, to strengthen student on that path?
It's wonderful. I think it's very good that you are, VNUIS is thinking seriously about this, and reflecting upon myself, I think that sometimes we just were told to study by our parents, and we just go into university, getting high marks, and then find out that the world is not like just, you know, simply as having a PhD everywhere. So I think a few things universities can help students to think about future. One thing I do in my teaching, for example, in the unit, at the start of the unit, I tell students to think of, you know, like I think Annie and Ngọc also talk about this, knowing yourself. So find out, asking what is in my heart, what I want to do, what I'm interested in. And then they realize that I really don't know. Many times people would find out I want it, but it's not what they need. It's like if I asking my daughter what, you know, what is it that she, you know, she would say, I want ice cream. Doesn't mean that she needs it because it's in winter and it's cold. So we asked her to think, what do you want? What do you like most in your life? And what you would want to spend your few years after universities. Then they write down the list. Then we ask them to look both, you know, in the literature, but also in the stories, news media, to write down capabilities that they want to develop to become that kind of person. So they would want to learn some maybe technical skills in certain areas in tech, but also some people would say I need to have to know how internship or some kind of how organization works. And some say I want to have a mentor out there. So I want to work in some project to have a feel of how it works, you know, out there. So they write down some capabilities. And then I say, okay, choose some, look at my unit, or whatever the unit, the subject that you're doing, and find some alignment to see what kind of skills you would like to develop in that course or subject or unit. So they write down a few things that I want to do, maybe writing a consulting report, maybe delivering a machine learning model, or maybe just teamwork and so on. Something I know that people often forget is the reflecting skills. So you have to reflect when you're doing things. So middle of the trimester, we tell students to reflect and see, have you achieved what you want to learn in the unit, apart from the discipline specific knowledge or skills. So have you achieved that? And we show them that it's reflecting or reflection in actions as you're doing it. So they keep doing that and keep their journal, a journal of learning. At the end of the trimester, we have an assessment, sometimes 10% or 15%, and say, now you write down what you wanted to develop and where you are now, how did you acquire that? Then they lay out ahead. Okay, now I'm in after year 1 or year 2, I have 1 or 2 more years. What do I do with the next 1 or 2 or whatever the years left in my course, in other subjects, so that I will become the person I wanted to be? Sometimes they will say, no, I realize that does not fit me. That's okay. That's also good and should be encouraged, because you realize that look, what you are pursuing is something different. But that is something very good. And coming back to what most of you said about following your heart and knowing yourself, then they would follow that. Then we also have, I also bring in experts from the industry to my class, so they share with the students how they go through their careers, the war stories, and students can come and talk and interact with the industry experts to learn about how they develop their careers. Universities should also have some kind of support to help students prepare their resume and provide them with access to industry projects. Some could be going and working with Annie, for example, in some projects, so that they can learn. And they learn how to interact with professionals, how to project themselves, how to share the ideas, and how to, to learn the feeling of, look, I'm making a mistake, and that's okay. So there's a lot of personal development that I think university can develop. And then I also tell students that don't be afraid when you realize that, look, what you plan for will be very different when you step out, because that's the skills you learn, and that will help you. Whatever at the end of your university you hit with, it could be a different reality that nobody could imagine that COVID or something like this happened. But the skills you gain through the university journeys should help them to stand firm and feel like ready to embrace changes. Because changes will happen anytime. Whatever you plan for might not happen to what you're thinking the world should be when you exit university. So that kind of flexibility, learning and flexibility to embrace changes is important for students. The adaptability skills is very important. Then the next thing I often tell students that your generation is different from your parents' generation. Your parents' generation would be, you have a job, maybe you two, for all your life. But you look at Annie's or maybe Ngọc see that it would change your careers a lot. You start anew again. And you have to accept that. But you would have different kind of careers, maybe, because the new generation would not keep the one job for all their life, like their parents' generation. So I hope that would be some, useful sharing.
Absolutely, it's such an enlightenment. And I love when you say embrace changes, because it's currently a problem is with a lot of young high school students in Vietnam, where they're just going for the most popular university programs, and they go to the most popular university names. And I also a true believer of transferable skills, because skill stays with you. And major just empower a certain amount of knowledge where with knowledge nowadays, just information where you can always constantly learning. And I love the fact that when you mentioned that we have a phrase in public accounting, we always say that throw them into the wolf packs. Just throw them into the wolves. And I wish more university would do that, because not often time we have the young students who can be like Annie, who just, volunteer to jump into the wolf pack herself and be the leader of her own pack. And so I think that's an excellent approach to that. I have a question I want to ask all of our guests. Because since you guys are either working in tech or tech-related fields, and I just want you guys to share, what do you think is the biggest myth or stereotypes that you want to demystify to the audience that you see in your work every day about women in the tech and tech-related industry? I want to start with you, Anne.
Yes, I think the most myth in the IT industry for women is like IT women is so simple and do not care about their appearance. And from my reality in my working place, it doesn't look like that. Female people in the IT industry, they are so smart and they proactive, and they had some talents, not only coding or some kind of QA/QC process. They can play an instrument, musical instrument. They can dance and they can do gym and yoga. And in my company, there is one beauty pregnant of the gym, and she's also one of the best BA analysts in my company too.
That's awesome.
Yes, and I think we can change your mindset a little bit about the IT woman.
Yeah. I think you'd be a good representative to change people, mindset about the stereotype.
Yeah,
what are you guys? Annie?
To me, I'm not quite in tech. I would say I am in business when I have to work with a lot of people who are in tech. And very rare for me to meet someone who is female and actually a coder. Or like Dr. Lemai, it's very rare to meet someone is totally in technology and who are female. But I always believe that if they are actually a female in technology, just like a male in chef, they actually excel that work. No man can meet them. That's what they do. So it's the same with men in chef, right? When you talk about chef or you talk about cooking, you think about women, but men who are good at cooking, they are actually really good at cooking. So same with women in tech. They can handle so many things and pressure, they are very flexible, they are very proactive, they're very talented as well. And well, speaking from that is the science point of view, I think, like when your brain whatever that part of the brain that has worked on in a different language, good at different, the coding things, technology, whatever, they are very good, and overall they are absolutely perfect to make, as a woman in tech, it is absolutely a topic that I can talk full days about, and they are very, very, very respected.
That's awesome. That's interesting. I love that analogy, by the way. Yeah. Well, you, Dr. Lemai, since you've been in this industry for a really long time, and as a researcher, as a lecturer, but also advisor and consultant for a lot of associations related to technology. So what are probably the biggest myth about women in technology that you want to demystify to the audience, to the general public?
I'm just thinking of my other professors and colleagues who are very successful, and I think what I learned from them, it's many of them, it's amazing. I can see how they can balance so many different dimensions in life, and it's really amazing to see how it can be both very hard and soft. I mean, they can do a lot of analytical and very smart, but at the same time, I see my colleagues also very creative. Like you mentioned, early on. They can do music, they can do creativity, and a lot of that dimension too. And then at the same time, when they are, especially colleagues, professors in Faculty of Health, they really show a great compassion and understanding when they talk to other colleagues, to their patients, to people. But at the same time, they can make very tough decisions. And I'm amazed, they are very good. I'm learning from them, watching them, and they're great. They can make tough decisions, critical thinking, but at the same time, they are very down on earth and with people. And when emergency or something happens, they throw the computer away, the paperwork away, they rush into the patient and ask, how are you? So that's really touching my heart. And then they also, are successful in their career, and yet they have very happy families. They look after their families, and they can just say, look, I can't go to the meeting today because I want to spend time with my daughter or my family. And I think, wow, they are amazing people. They have kind of, how can you handle so different dimensions from very one end to the other end? It seems like impossible, but they are very good things to follow. So I think this something, I'm not saying men can't be like that, but because you're asking about females, I'm thinking of my colleagues, and I think that's what I learned. I would love to learn from them.
I think that's a wonderful observations about being hard when needed and can be soft at the same time. And I think you present yourself perfectly that way too, and the way you articulate and your voice, it makes you sound like you seems like someone who probably working in the beauty consultant business. But yeah, at the same time, you are doing wonderful project in technologies. So before we moving on to the Q&A questions with our audience, both online and in the studio, I just want to have one quick short session called The Message. And I just want each of our guests to think of a message that you would, instead of just telling the message to the younger audience, because I think each individuals in here will have different dreams, different paths, different strengths and weaknesses. So it's impossible to have one advice or have a message that would fit them all. However, I would want you guys to send a message to your younger self, and I think that can be a wonderful reflections that our younger audience here, because many of them are very motivated, but also many of them are still in doubt and still on edge of taking the next steps. So I really want you guys to send a message to your younger self. Would you do something different? What would be the advice you give to your younger self back in the day before you start your endeavor? So Arne, you want to start with a message to yourself?
Actually, I know that the theme of International Women's Day this year is Break the Bias. So I think I should use the slogan to share the message to my younger self and all the younger students here, and also go beyond the limitation if you are the Star Wars fan.
I am.
Yes, and that's all my two messages.
Thank you, and I'm sure all the young Padawan will appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks.
What are you, Annie?
I think probably what I would like to talk to my younger self, or like for other, this generation as well, is that yes, you take that advice, you jump in with both feet, you did. Now stay in the water before giving up and getting out, trying to get out so quickly as quick as possible. And the grass is always green on the other side, but you need to take care of your side as well. And you have to stay in that water long enough, you will learn so much more from this grass or this water, rather than thinking about moving to place or jumping into other ponds already.
That's awesome. I mean, jump in with both feet and stay in the water. That sounds like, the title of the next book, probably, right? Are you having that second book coming soon?
I just haven't found the time yet, but I would really, really love to write a book about entrepreneurship for young people. I probably would love that to be my next book.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Annie. Dr. Lemai?
Thank you. I think maybe my formula, if you like to say it that way, would be curiosity plus awareness and plus integrity. So curiosity would drive you to learn, to keep learning, because you keep being curious about things. When you stop being curious, you stop growing, stop learning. So curiosity is very important. It drives your learning, your doing things. And second is awareness. Awareness means that you don't react because you have some great energy, emotions, fear or angry, whatever they are. But you take a pause and assess the situation so that you respond to challenges, respond to even opportunities. You don't go overexcited and forget about everything else. So curiosity, awareness, stop and pause and think. But the third one is very important, and that's what I also learned from the Marvel studio, is about integrity. So you can see that the characters act, make decisions, they speak, all based on their integrity. When you lose it, you lose everything. So when you have integrity, you keep your moral principles. Then with your curiosity, you learn meaningful things. You do meaningful things, and you speak meaningful things to the world in communicating with humans or to serving the society. So that the three things I would like to give back to my young self. If I have another life, I would want to follow that too.
Thank you so much. Yeah, this is so wonderful. And I just want to take this time to invite the audience and the guests to join me in asking questions too, because I don't want them to feel too jealous of myself getting to ask a lot of questions to all of these wonderful guests. I think we have our sliding QR code up, and it'll be easier for all of us to follow. All right, we have an anonymous guest who asked a question: how to predict more correctly that our decision is right or not? I'm not sure. Are you asking for an instinct from as a female instinct, or you want to ask it as in terms of Dr. Lemai can code a program to use AI to help you predict that, or AI predictive is a expertise of Dr. Lemai as well. So and what you say? I want you to take on these questions. How to predict more correctly if whether you decide something correctly or not?
Whatever would you do not think right or wrong, just suitable or not suitable?
I see.
Yes, I think it should be better, and I think if you have many ways to choose, and I think you should define what is the right time, and you know that you should choose the right time or the right period to make decision. I think it's better than to scare something right or wrong. Just do it.
I see.
Yeah.
So it's the timing of it as well,
Yes.
and look at it. It's not about right or wrong, right?
Yes.
Anyway, what do you think? How do you personally, just kind of in hindsight, kind of look back and from your past experience, how do you often kind of predict yourself? How you forecast what will be the risk for the future and what is the low risk and high risk?
To predict something before you make a decision. But once you make a decision, you're always right. Either that decision is right, you're always right. As long as you follow your heart and follow your gut. Because once you make a decision, then you would not have a decision anymore. You would then have a situation. It doesn't matter. There's only two ways for the situation. Either you're gonna change the situation, meaning make another decision again, or changing your attitude towards that decision. So whatever decision you make, you're always right. You make a bad decision, you're right. You make a good decision, you're right. So follow it to the end. And the next step it would be then you have a situation, how you balance that situation out. Because whatever you put on the table before you make a decision, you think it through. You have to think enough So not making a decision is also making a decision. Is also a decision. So either you make a decision right there and then after thinking so much through. Don't second guess yourself. Follow your heart, follow your gut. Do not second guess yourself and follow it through with your decision.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. I have a questions about how do you balance your job and your life, and I want to ask Dr. Mai about this because since you're seems like I have a wonderfully packed and productive day. So how do you balance everything you do each day?
I think I'm very blessed to have a very good family. So people really help me to balance. They understand my job. They help me to understand, how challenges, what challenges I had to deal with. And so this has support me in all things I do. I'm very blessed, but also what I can learn and share with others. It's about prioritizing your, what you need to do, and have some very good block of time in the days for yourself, but also for to make sure that things you do at work get done. And you will see that you cannot do everything you want to do in any part of your life or work. But it's about prioritization. But you put her first in your list and you do it well.
That's awesome. Yeah, thank you so much. Ngọc An, I'm curious to hear, as a young person who's been, who has graduated for a few years and has, has moving up the ladders in the tech business. Do you have a method of keeping the work-life balance to maintain it?
I just want to share one interesting point in IT industry is that they encourage you to have a work-life balance. That's the reason why I really like IT industry. I want to work for it. And for the work-life balance, it means that you have to have a good time management skills. And for myself, before I start a new day, I have to write down what I have to do on the next day. At least it's something urgent cases may happen in the next day, but I can handle it well. And for the weekends, I have 2 days off, and I will spend 1 day for my family and 1 day for myself. And I think it's a good way to balance your life.
That's interesting, yeah. Annie, I really hate to do this, but I'm going to rephrase this question for you. As an entrepreneur, as a CEO and founder of Tubbud, do work-life balance exist? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I can hear you now.
To me, there is no balance. Work is my life is work. I unfortunately have not have family myself yet, so I feel like all my time and all of my life is my work. And of course I spend time for myself because I love myself and I really appreciate the time for myself. It helps me grow. So unlike Dr. Lemai that has family to take care of, that children, husband, a lot of things to take care of, I only need to take care of my dog. So it only takes a little bit, like a small time of my life. But I mean, as a CEO and as an entrepreneur, it is a goal. It is a priority for me to balance work and life. Really hard to do it because you usually have to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and reply an email, or you can easily be on a conference call from midnight to 2 a.m. With someone across the globe. That happens on a kind of daily basis. But I would set goals for myself. For example, just like Ngọc An, I would take 2 days of the weekend, not do anything except for these kind of events, and of inspiring each other or helping each other. To really working on that and spend that 2 days for myself. I spend that 2 days to do what I want in life. And because of that, I have a goal to get through of the whole week, is that I have 5 days that I work very hard in order to give this reward of the 2 weekends, the weekend days for myself. So it is hard, but I think, we have to keep it as priority for our life.
Well, thank you so much. I mean, we feel even much more honored now that we're taking up your precious time in the weekend. I want to move on to the next questions. Do you have any advices for college students who don't study IT but still have a passion for it? Do they have any difficulties compared to other IT students? I want Anne to be the first person to take on these questions, and it's very relevant to you.
Yes, actually I have a chance to talk and chit-chat with a fresher in the company. He doesn't study IT major in the bachelor degree, so he asked what did he had to do. So firstly, you need to work hard. Firstly, because you have to study and learn new things, which is different from your background. So you need to work hard, and you need to learn more, and you need to be proactive to get all advices and experience from the experts in the industry. Because now internet is so familiar and so popular, you can take use of that to get some learning and sharings from the expert, IT expert. And if you need some information, you can contact me. I can give you some link or some maybe a good contact point to help you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow, we have a network already. Dr. Lemai, I'm just curious about what you have to say as well. What advice would you give to students who are wanting to pursue IT, and would there be any shortcuts for them to kind of, shorten the gap by the time they graduate and maybe they want to pursue a career in IT?
Thank you. I actually, last Friday, I interviewed for a research program. I interviewed a number of chief information officers and chief technology officers for very large companies I cannot name because of the requirements from research. However, these studies, the journeys are very fascinating. They did not start as an IT person. They did not learn IT formally at universities. They started as a drivers, truck drivers to deliver foods. And another person started as an accountant. So they all started with something else. But they did have a passion for IT because they reflected in the action. They see, oh, technology can help me. Data can help me. And so with their domain expertise, then they learn about how IT could help them, how data could help them. So they learn in the work. Then they pick up many other short courses, or their different, graduate, master degrees beyond your university bachelor degree. You can learn that, and they are successful. Now they are CTOs, CIOs of companies, large companies. So if you do have a passion and interest in IT, but you don't or haven't yet learned IT, you still have a lot of opportunities. Look at what you're interested in, you're good at, in your own very specific or specialist domain, and then expand it from there. And people often think IT is about developing, designing technology. But it's not all about designing technology. It's like, we all drive cars, but we don't know how the car works, in and out. We don't build it. We are not engineers. So you don't have to be an engineer in order to use many equipment and many things in our life, appliances at home. So it can still build your skills in using IT and technology for your own business, for your own expertise area. And you can also become analyst, consultants in using IT and helping companies to use IT for their business.
I think that's a wonderful way to put it. I think the next question actually asked directly for you. Are women highly valued in the field of artificial intelligence research work? And as someone who conducts research and who works in the field for quite a few years, for quite a long time, what do you say? I guess the student here, I was just wondering about the potential career path in research on AI. as a woman specifically?
Thank you. This is a very relevant question for today's event. You're right, and I do have a lot of colleagues who are women in IT. I really admire them. They're really smart. They're kind of different types of capabilities where women can develop in artificial intelligence research. For example, some of my colleagues that I'm very lucky to work with, they are developing machine learning, AI, algorithms, and models to do wonderful things. But also I have many other female colleagues who are artificial intelligence researchers who learn how to make AI more effective in healthcare, or how to inform organization of a responsible approach to utilizing AI in healthcare or in other fields, tourism, finance. So there are many ways that women can be known and develop their capabilities in AI research, and they are very well regarded, very well highly appreciated in the field, especially in research. Because they not only, some people, yes, if you can do the programming, you can teach AI to do wonderful things. That's also very good. There are many women like that, but many also women who are good because they can tell societies how best to use it, what can make it better, how to combine human skills and artificial intelligence skills to deliver something for business, to solve business problems. And then other pick up on ethical issues and responsible AI. So there are many opportunities for women in AI.
Thank you so much. Yeah, that enlightens me quite a bit. The next question I want to give it directly to Annie. Can you help a young person in the audience to help them with the process of discovering and recognitions of the strength for a young person who may not, be that aware of their strengths and weaknesses?
It is a great question, though. I am very lucky in my life that I not recognize my strength, but I recognize what I love early in life. Early, I mean like 17 years old. In other countries, that's not early anymore. But in Vietnam, I think that is what I am very grateful for. So, your strength as a Japanese methods of Ikigai, if you have not heard about it, you may look it up, Ikigai. What you want to do should be a central mix of what you like, what you're good at, and what the society needs. So in order to figure out what is your strength, you need to first figure out what you like, or what you're good at, or what is the society needs from you. But the third one should come at the latest. You should care about what you like first and what you're good at first. If you don't know what you like and what you're good at, that's an amazing position to be in, because it's exciting, because that's what life is all about. It's about discovering what you like and what you're good at. Try every single thing. If I was you, if I don't know what I like, I would try everything. I would try to play music to see if I'm good at music. I would try to learn different languages to see if I am good at any other languages. I would try to do IT. I would try to learn coding to see if I'm really good at coding. I would learn so many things, and it all started from learning and actually be self-aware of what you like and what you want to do in life in your heart. So figured it out of the question, what do you like and what are you good at? And then from there, if you can really see and find the niche of the society needs you in that field, you have got it. You have got the best thing in the world to do what you love and what's needed from you. So it's exciting if you don't know what your strength is yet, and you are still so young. You guys just graduated, and a lot of people think graduating from university is that it, that is the end of life, like that is the end of education. No, that is the beginning of a new, adventure. Now from here onwards, you only learn what you want to learn. You only learn and focus on what you like in life and design yourself. So be excited, get excited for it.
That's awesome. I think that's beautifully spoken because I related so much to that as someone who also changed my career 3 to 4 times to something completely different from one another's. And so that's often I would tell my students that, and I love that, that both in you and Dr. my emphasis on that was that it doesn't stop at university graduations, and it's just maybe on the early beginning, and it's even probably one of the very, very early stage of your life as well. I just want to ask one of the questions that since you also someone who work in the tech industries, but you got a chance to observe a lot, you got a chance to watch a lot of people, you got to be that center point of the circuit of communicating throughout the companies, throughout an organization. So from your observations, what do you think are some of the struggles of the new graduate students nowadays entering into the tech industry? Experience or inexperience and whatnot. Yeah.
I think there are 2 main issues that many IT fresher or undergraduate are facing in the labor market. Firstly, is the English skill. And you know that we now enter the international or global market, so you need to improve your English and as well as your communication skills. Maybe IT students are good at talking with computer and coding language. But what about others? You need to talk with your boss, your colleges, or your clients. So you need to improve your communication skills too. And the second major problem is your proactiveness in working. Because maybe sometimes you just want to talk with yourself and you're afraid of talking and asking questions to your college or maybe your boss. You need to talk and you need to ask, because if you have a chance to talk with the experts, you can improve your skills and also your expertise too. And I think there are 2 problems. Yeah.
Wow, thank you. I think that's very helpful to the students who are listening our broadcast today. I think that's a questions that I think Dr. Mike can certainly help our student who has an observation that the more AI develops, the easier it is for people to lose their jobs. I feel pretty scared. And I think the fear that still lingers from the very first question that we had earlier in the talk show, would you mind helping out that young student?
Sure. It's quite interesting if you reflect upon the history when they introduced the steam engine and when they designed car. People were thinking, oh my God, all this technology will take away jobs. So no more horse carriage. If someone used to ride a horse, they would say that I won't be able to take people from one place to another because cars will take over my jobs. Or when the internet was introduced, people think, oh my God, now my business will go obsolete because all my stores will take over. But it never happened. You can see technologies created more jobs, just different kinds of jobs. So instead of thinking that AI or any other technologies, post AI will replace human jobs. Yes, they replace the current or the previous existing jobs, but technology will always create more jobs. So what we need to do is what we have been talking about: adaptability, flexibility, changing, embracing changes, and grow, and keep learning. Keep learning, upskill, and just finding more about yourself as Amy and say, follow your heart and keep learning, keep growing. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the answer. Yeah, and to that student, please don't be scared. There's no need to be scared. Let's just say, assume I'm a university lecturer, and if there's one day there's a computer who's smarter than me, who's better at teaching than me, then I guess there still needs somebody who go and plug in the computer to the electric power, right? So I'll still have another job. Well, we have a comment say here that to say you guys are all beautiful and wonderful women. So thank you for sharing. So that's a comment from a student who admiring our guest today. I think there was a question earlier that I saw about somebody who was a sales associate but was struggling in knowing how to sell the products online. And I think we have an expert with selling things on through the internet here. Annie, would you mind helping out one of the struggling sales associates?
I would be delighted to. To me, yes, there are a lot of jobs that are not quite for you. However, I think, like I said before, when you jump in with both feet, you may as well want to stay in that water for a while. Figure it out, what you not like about it, or what you liked about it, but not really good at it yet. Then you can improve yourself. Because if you don't like it just because you cannot sell it online, then I really say everything now is going to be hard for you because everything is about selling. You have to sell your idea, you have to sell your image, you have to sell your thoughts, you have to sell your decision, you have to, at any point in life, you always have to sell. Even parents have to sell their kids to go to bed. Everything is about selling now. But if you cannot sell, of course you cannot be like Jordan Belfort, sell anybody a pen, anybody anything. It depends on what you can sell and what you cannot sell. But at the same time, you shouldn't be scared of selling things on the internet or like online, just because or somebody might think that you're a scam, or like somebody might think that you're not right. I used to work in sales, and I used to stand on the street in the UK selling things to people. And that is so hard. Because I am nobody, and I was a stranger, and I had to stop people right there and buy things from me on the street or give me money on the street. That sounds like a scam more than anything, right? But at the same time, if that's the thing that people need, I would find a way to sell this to them, because if that's what they need. So you are selling, everything is about selling nowadays, and sell will help you with your communication skill, with your people skill, with your socialized skill, so much that you will really, really appreciate at the end of the job. So stay with it, stick with it for a few months, maybe a few years. See what you're good at it, why you're good at it, what is there that you like and what is there that you don't like. Maybe you don't like because of the company, not because of the product. So you may want to go to another company and try the selling online again, and maybe that is where you're going to be successful, but you're going to stick to it. Whatever it is, don't decide it too quickly that you like it or not, because sometimes you just need time to improve yourself to be good at it, and then you would like it. A lot of people, like for example for me, I like it first and then I improve myself in order to be good at it. But a lot of people, they are not like that. So for a lot of people, they have to be good at it in order to like it. So maybe that's what happens to you. So what I'm saying is, be patient with yourself. Give yourself more time to improve in something. Give enough time, say for example 6 months, 1 year, it is enough time for you to experience it, to try it out, to see if you really like it, or what you don't like about it, and then move on, or find a more suitable job, or like then you learn about yourself so much. You learn that, oh, I don't want to do this because of this. Then you have a reason why. Then you will move on to the next pond, jump in both feet, and you will feel so much better because you have the confidence on what you've done. But trust me, if you ever start online, you are very good at it, I would probably say you're pretty good at everything.
That's awesome. Yeah, speaking the truth from somebody who's been selling Vietnam to the world since 2018. But thank you, Annie. And I think we have one last question that's probably very fitting to the topic today. One of the students in the audience was asking, how do I start working in the tech and tech-related industry? And most importantly, how do I compete with men? So I know, let's just answer for the fun of it, and let's enlighten all of us. And I want to start with you, Ngọc An. Yeah. How do you suggest young female graduates to compete with men in the tech industry?
I think there's no competition in here because even you are men or women in IT industry, you have your own strength and also some areas you need to improve. So I think if you are a competitive person, it's a good platform for you to dare to learn and take the challenge in the industry. But if you are not the one that are quite competitive and want to take competition with others, that's fine, don't worry. You still have an opportunity to work for IT industry. So what I want to say is that there's no competition. So just do what you really want to do. And as Annie or Dr. Lemai said, follow your heart and just do it. You will get your achievement in the next future. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, thank you. Annie, what about you? What would you say?
I think whether you men or male or female, man or woman, if you're good at it, you're highly valued. So I think like you have to compete with men, you have to compete with other women because they're probably better than the most, right? Better than the men, or so you have to compete anyway with the best right there, whether they are men or women. So hand on heart, I'm a very competitive person and I always want to be the best. So I would take the best person to be my goal, and then I have to beat them in a way. So don't really worry about these gender thing because, if you're good, you're good.
That's awesome. Yeah. Dr. Lemai, want to say some last few words?
I would like to start with sharing my own stories of how when I was doing my PhD, I was a tutor teaching Java programming at another university, and the class was full of men, all the men students, and some very big, and I was very young, just completed my bachelor degree and go to my PhD, and I was so frightened because small and my English wasn't good, not perfect now, but it wasn't good at all in that time. And everyone was men and very big in the classroom. So I went to one English support program and asked her for help. How do I do? And the teacher there said, are you good at programming? I said, yes, I love programming and I'm good with programming, Java programming. And she said, okay, then before you come to your class, you stand up straight and you say 3 times the magic word. I'm confident. I'm good at programming. And I'm not scared. You just have to say it 3 times, loud. Then you go in the classroom and you know that you're good at it. So as Annie said, you're good at it. And then I went through some other things in life, and then I learned that often at work, we women, not just me, my colleagues, female colleagues too, we are not confident. So we work very hard, until we think that we are 150%, if not 200%, before we put in a promotion application. But the boss said that men, I'm sorry if I offend anyone, but just another person saying that even when they are 70%, they feel they're very confident. So you will need to learn from men. And I took it, yes, I have to learn from them. So I went to another class and I said, I want to be confident and assertive like men. They said, okay, this is a class. You stand up like men, you dress with your white and black, and you take off all your jewelry, and you have to stand, with big and bold. And I said, no, I'm not going to do that. It doesn't sound like me. I'm not going to do that. And later on, I found out that's why I mentioned about the Buddha before, because the teachers told me, this is something you put in your head, that layer of interpretation that there is a competition, that there is men and women, but it's we all are good in your good. So people will respect expertise. People don't look at whether you are men or women as such. Maybe some, but you don't put it into your mind. So then I learned, okay, there is no competition, and this is, you just need to learn to be good with what you are doing. So we are, I think that's pretty much what I learned from my life that I would like to share. I think it's quite a lot, and I agree completely with Ngọc and Annie, that you're good and you're good, and there's no competition.
Yeah, thank you so much, all you guys, for the answers. And on behalf of the male community that walk across this planet Earth, I just want to apologize for that. I just want to say that there's two types of men, frankly speaking. One that secretly admire you guys, and the other one just deny to accept the truth. But yes, when you are good, you are good. And I just want to say one more time that thank you all so much for spending your precious time on a Sunday afternoon to be with us. And I'm sure we can have so many more wonderful stories. But what he has shared today for the past an hour and a half has impacted, I'm sure, many different young students here who are maybe still wondering, who's still on edge, who's still just not ready to take that jump over the fence. And so for that, I thank you guys, and I wish you guys the best of luck. I wish you all the best in this pandemic. Would you guys mind to stay for a few extra seconds so we can take a group photo, even though it's just a print screen, but I think that would be real lovely. All right. Go ahead, take the picture on the screen. Okay. Just a screen first, and then we can take all of us here.